We're back with Minister Shane McEntee. We moved to the household charge. As you heard on LMFM's news yesterday, 578 people in County Meath have paid the charge so far. I think nationally we're probably on around 150,000 homes having paid. We're falling short, Minister. Is everybody in the country, practically everybody in the country, going to be fined?
Well, I think it's like everything else. Most people leave it to the last minute, and I think there's a certain amount of, we would notice in our office, as would a lot of other TDs, the amount of people ringing in the last week or 10 days wanting to know how we go about it. It's quite a small number, but I see the county councils are going to leave their offices open, and it's like people applying for grants or anything. I see it in the department. They'll come in on the last minute.
Are you worried?
Michael, it's like the treaty. People have their choice. People have their choice,
or else, like the treaty, or else.
Well, it's there, Michael. People that are saying don't pay the charges. That's, to me, at times irresponsible.
But 1.6 million homes in the country are thereabouts, isn't it?
Yeah, there's
150,000 people have paid.
Yeah.
God, it's dismal.
It is, Michael. People will budget, Michael, and people just haven't got these hundreds to throw out that quickly. People will budget it, and I do know this, and I genuinely mean this, that there's an awful lot. Even yesterday morning, people were ringing, how do we go about it? And I think we have, and I will be bringing it back to government today, to be quite honest with you, that we've got to do, get it clear to people, that you get your form, you can pay it certain ways, get it in, and I think people want, there are going to be a certain percentage of people who are not going to pay it, Michael, and so be it. But
lots of people don't want to pay it.
No, so nobody wants to pay it. I don't want to pay it. Do you want to pay it, Michael?
I don't know what I'm paying for.
Well, Michael, look at, we have to, the biggest mistake that an awful lot of, when people are saying this actually on the ground, why we ever done away with a rate system, our county councils and everything over the years, it was an awful mistake where money, when you paid rates and that, went into the local authorities, and instead of depending on national funding. And this is this money is specifically to deal with local services such as fire brigades.
Will I have more fire brigades?
Well, no, you won't have fire, but you want to have the ones that are there, Michael. Right. You've got to have the people. That is part of it, and different services, because if you don't fund local authorities,
I pay for them already. I'm paying, God knows how much in income tax every week.
I know, Michael, and we're all doing the same, and it is cruel. There is no question about it, but it has to be done. We have to keep the show on the road. An awful lot of we can do two things.
There's a point of principle with it as well. It's a completely dishonest tax.
Michael, any tax. Any tax.
This could be the most honest statement ever made by
nobody likes seeing that pay package and half of it going out in or a quarter of it.
I honestly don't mind. I honestly won't mind if I'm lucky enough to be working. That I'm paying money for people who aren't working. I'm paying money for public services and so on. But this is a dishonest tax. There's no basis or foundation for this.
I don't agree, Michael.
Well, what am I paying it for? And how has it been calculated so that it's fair?
Well, you can say you pick a figure. You have to come up with something that's reasonable.
Yeah, that's not fair, though.
You
earn considerably more than me, and you'll be paying the same. Well, let's say you earn considerably more than somebody who's on social welfare, and you'll be paying the same household charges there.
Yeah, but we all avail of the services, Michael. We all avail of the services, and people get caught in different ways, no matter what their salaries are.
But this is a tax.
Yeah, it is a tax. It's a once-off.
Why should a very wealthy person like yourself pay exactly the same amount in tax as somebody who's on the breadline?
Michael, I appreciate my salary. I appreciate.
And I'm not talking. I don't mean to be digging at that. But I mean, anybody on the type of money that politicians generally are on, I would consider to be wealthy.
I appreciate my salary, and it's there until people say you go. You've seen there on the.
Okay, well let's say if you're a hospital consultant, right? Why should a hospital consultant pay the same amount in tax as somebody on social welfare?
Well, this has to be done for this year. It's a once-off. Next year you are looking at a property tax or whatever, and I think that's going to be a hard one to calculate, but that will be done. It's a once-off, has to be done. Michael, there's one thing I don't agree with, Michael, in this. I think everybody should pay it. The person, you have people renting houses. I think if you go to Northern Ireland where you have Sinn Féin in control, like every household, whether you own the house or whether you're availing of the services paying it, I think it would have been fair. And that's my own belief in this. And
does everybody pay the same?
I think everyone...
In Northern Ireland, does everybody pay?
Yeah, there's massive amounts.
But do they all pay exactly the same? Do the hospital consultants and the people on social welfare pay the same?
I don't know that.
No, I don't know so, but I doubt it because it's a property tax which is usually based on the value of the property, the size of the property, and the income of the people living in the property.
Yeah, and I think maybe at the end of the day that will be fair, but that will be introduced next year. I do agree. But this is a once-off to keep our local authorities working, Michael. They have to be kept working, and we know frontline.
But they are working.
Michael, they're not. They're not financial.
So we will have more for fire brigades.
Michael, our local authorities need funding. They need funding. There's no question. And money, like you pay the tax on your car or that went straight to Dublin. You would like to think that money would go to the maintenance of the roads, which are still under serious threat of deterioration. And one by one you try to get them done, and when you have the last one done you start at the beginning again. And everybody, you go into North Meath or you go into East Meath or any part of Meath, there's not a road that doesn't need improvement. We know that. But this €100 charge is to keep the ship afloat. There is no question that until things get better. And nobody likes it, but I think people who say that you don't pay it are irresponsible. They're irresponsible in saying don't pay it because there's fines in place. Like you take people who have a second home or a third home, if they didn't pay the €200 charge on it, the fines get bigger and bigger. It's there, Michael. I think it's up to people themselves whether they pay it or not. But my advice from somebody that have seen people who didn't pay on the second home and that, the way the fines amount, and you're left on your own. Where will the political parties be when that few pound has been looked at?
Okay, and that is what people have to balance in their own minds.
Yes, they have to balance it, and it's Michael. But I can tell you from as the fellow said, I'd be a devil for work trying to listen on the ground. People. The services are needed on the ground to keep the thing going. Things will get better. Have no doubt about that, Michael. Okay. Things will get better, and I will say this again and again. The amount of people from outside the country who's given credibility to Ireland. I know people I talked to in Australia, friends of mine that are over there. 3-4 years ago, they did not want to read the paper about Ireland. I saw some of them were home. I met them in Dublin at Michael D. Higgins' at our president's inauguration. They said now they are proud to read it. Okay, they're away, but they're glad to see that we're getting our house in order. And it's every one of their dreams, Michael, that they come back. Okay,
as always would be the case. All right, Minister, we have to leave it there. People do want to abide by the law, which requires that we pay our household charge by the end of this month. You can do so online at householdcharge.ie or indeed through your local council, your local authority.
Yeah, or if people, Michael, if people are worried, if they want to farm, ring their local, no matter what party they are. Ring the local TD or their council and that they will get it out to them immediately. There are a lot of senior citizens who are worried. Don't be afraid. And if you have teachers at the same time, we're well used to it. But don't be afraid to lift the phone. Yeah.
All right. Thank you indeed, as always, for joining us. Fine Gael TD in Meath West and Minister of State at the Department of Agriculture, Food and the Marine, Shane McEntee.